When that comes, it's just like winter. We don't say there ought not to be winter. That the winter season, when the leaves fall and the snow comes, is some kind of defeat, something we should hold out against. No. Winter is a part of the natural course of events. No winter, no sun. No cold, no heat. You see, as far as I can remember back, I have been always fascinated by that. What would it be like? What is it? What would it be like to go to sleep and never wake up again? What would happen after that? It's such an interesting idea. But I know this video is about that, but you see, when we think about our non-existence, the very fact that we are seems odd now, isn't it? I mean, it's weird, isn't it, that we are here right now. I mean, here talking about sleeping, you see that we never went to sleep, but we woke up out of nowhere. We're conscious, we're here, we're aware. I mean, isn't that crazy? I mean, just as crazy as the fact that we're going to die. Even more crazy. You see, our whole existence is surrounded by this great mystery. Where did it come from? How are we functioning? Where are we going? No idea. See, this idea of that, it shakes you up. You see, it gives you a huge slap on the face, when you get lost in everyday's trivialities. And it makes you realize that you've been taking things too seriously. I mean, for example, one of these hard reminders happened for me when one of my friends died not so long ago. I mean, I went to school with him for like 4 years. He was a really good friend, a friend of mine. And he was just 20 years old, I think, 20 something. 20 years old, I think he was 20. And he just died. And that was pretty crazy, not gonna lie. And it was truly a huge reminder for me. Like a huge slap in the face. Damn, life is short. You don't know. I could have been there. I could have died. It's very interesting how easily we can forget this. How easily we can forget that we're going to die one day. This is the main idea behind the idea of memento mori, that we can so easily forget this, remember it more, remember it, keep it in mind every day that you're going to die. And let me just introduce myself quickly. My name is Nago Daniel. I make videos about things that I'm interested in, mainly philosophy, all sorts of things that I'm interested in. I also make videos about climbing, so hope you enjoy. And I'm making this video because I just enjoy talking about things that I'm interested in. But you see, the thing is that I don't think that is a bad guy. I don't think that it's bad. It really is what allows us to live. You see, that quote that I read to you in the beginning of that video, it's about that. You see, the same with winter. Winter, it's not like it shouldn't come. It's a necessary part of the cycle of nature or whatever. You see, no winter, no summer, as it said. Just in the same way, no death, no life. And also, they imply each other. That you only know death by contrast with life, you see. And you only know life in contrast with death. The moment you're alive, you're destined to die. It's that simple. But it's really the other way around. Because they exist only with each other. They imply one another. They go together. Life and death. You see, life, existence, really is an alternation between life and death. Between life and life and death, life and death. It goes like that. Just like a wave. How it has a crust and a trough. And goes up and down, up and down. But the crust doesn't exist without a trough. You can't just, get one of them out and leave the other one in. The whole thing would collapse. It's just the same with life and death. You see, it's just like with sound. Sound is really made up of sound and silence. You can hear this, you can notice this actually when you're listening to a deeper voice or a deeper sound. The alternations don't go that fast. And you hear that little crackling in the other person's voice. But when the pitch is high, you don't notice the alternation. But between life and death, the alternation is very long. So you see, we can very easily separate it and think that, life must win. We must go on living, you see. And we must triumph over death. But when we say that we must go on living, it's like saying that you must love me. It just doesn't work, because you see, life is a spontaneous process. It all happens by itself. It's not something that is being forced to do. I'm pretty sure that a plant, you see, He doesn't think to himself, oh, I must go on living. This is the most important thing in my life. I'm pretty sure that it goes on, just playfully. But rather, I think that they are just playing almost, dancing, going on living just to go on living for no other reason at all. And they don't have this like duty, oh, I must go on living. Because otherwise, it becomes a drag. Going on living becomes a drag, it becomes a bore. It's not worth it anymore. If you must do it, it's like saying that you must play. Well, it doesn't work like that. You see, in reality, that is the most life-giving thing that there is. There wouldn't be life without it. And you see, if you're scared of that, if you get the shivers of you not being here, of that idea, then just get the shivers. Just get that feeling. Just feel it. Don't try to run away from it. Don't try to suppress it. Or repress it, however you say it. Don't try to push it down. Because most of the time that never works. Just sit with that feeling. Go straight into it. And it's very similar with other kind of feelings. That it's almost never a good idea to push them down. But actually it's much better to face them head on and go straight into them. And just experience it as if it was the only thing that you had to do in the whole world right now. It's just the same with pain, with fear, with anxiety. With these, you got to face them straight head on. Otherwise, you will create a vicious cycle of being anxious. And then you're anxious because you're anxious. And then you're anxious because you're anxious about being anxious, and so on. So just face it. And you see, I was thinking about this. You see, what are people really afraid of when they say that they are afraid of death? What is it that they are afraid of? And what came to my mind is that, well, what I think is that most people are really afraid of there being nothing forever. After they die, you see, it's just curtains forever. Just absolutely nothing. That is the last chance that they get for experiencing. And now you see, supposing that there is nothing after we die, going to sleep and never waking up. Curtains forever, the universe just stops after we die. Then what? You see, what would that be like? Should we be scared of that? You see, we get close to that feeling in the intervals between going to sleep and waking up. There's just nothing in there. Yeah, some dreams, but we all remember those dreams when we wake up. Now what is that? You see, in this nothingness, there is absolutely nothing. There is no past, there is no future, there is no present. There are no problems, no troubles, no fear, no anxiety. No one to experience it. There is no you. There's just absolutely nothing. So why be scared of that? No one will be there to be scared or to experience pain or anything. And you see, we also get close to that nothingness by the way our head looks to our eyes. You see, out there, I see everything out there, but when I move my hands back there, they just disappear. It's not like I'm seeing a blank, some kind of darkness, a black space. No, it's just absolutely blank. It's just nothing there. But the interesting thing is that nothingness that I don't see makes me able to see. Out of that nothingness, I see. And just in the same way, out of this frisky nothingness behind our whole existence, out of that we are alive. Out of that we came into being. We came out of that nothingness. We depend, our existence depends on that nothingness being there behind it. We're surrounded by it. When you think back to your earliest memories, you just think back, and you're faced with nothingness, with blank. You have no idea where you came from. You just hear, bam, like that. And of course you know by other people, by writings and everything, that there were people around you, conscious beings. And when you're looking into the future, it also just fades just like the past. You don't know where you're going after that. So we're all surrounded by this nothingness. And also, you don't know how you function. You don't know how you circulate your blood or secrete your hormones. That's also a whole another mystery. Our whole being is surrounded by this crazy mystery. Now you see, supposing that after we die, there's just absolutely nothingness. There's nothing forever. But you see, the thing is that that's the same state that I was in before I was born. Because as we said, remembering back to our earliest memories, we're faced with blank. Just the same blankness, the same nothingness that we're going into after that, if that's what happens. So couldn't that happen again? Because you see, what happened once could very well happen again. What happens only once is extraordinary. I mean, just imagine something in the whole universe happening only once. That's it. I mean, I don't think existence is something like that. That we're just, shining out of this great darkness for 1 second in the millions of years. And then we disappear forever. Consciousness disappears forever. No. We know that, you see, conscious creatures have existed before me. And I know that a bunch of conscious beings will be born after I die. So then you see, can it happen again? Because you see, if when I die and I lose all my memories, then another baby being born is just the same as me being reborn. Because you see, if you die, you lose all your memories and you go into that nothingness. Then something has been born, conscious. It's just like when you were born. But of course you won't remember who you were because you lost all your memories. And I'm not sure if you get the idea that if you just die and you lose all your memories and everything, you're just gone. And probably even your consciousness. Then not a conscious being being born. It's just like you being reborn. Because the baby starts from the same place where you started when you were born. Now you might be saying that, oh, you see, but that wouldn't be me. You see, that's not me, another baby being born. But you see, the interesting thing is that you're very comfortable calling yourself who you are now me, even though you don't remember who you were before. But you know that this is me, who I am right now. But you don't know where you came from. You see, the other interesting thing is that every creature thinks that it's in the middle. I mean, you think that you're in the middle, I think I'm in the middle. You see, when I look around in 360, like whenever I look, I have the same distance everywhere. So I think that, I'm in the middle of a great circle. And I'm in the middle of experiencing. And every creature thinks that. Now who's right? Well, everyone's right. Because when you take a circle or a sphere, you ask me which point is the middle on its circumference. Well, it could be any point. You just turn it to that. You see, if I have this sphere over here, my hand, and I say that this is the middle, I just turn it your way, and then it's in the middle. Or I say this, I turn it my way. Yes, it's in the middle, right there. So every point could be regarded as the middle point. And the other interesting thing is that every creature thinks that it's human. And by this I mean that every creature thinks that the way that he is just the ordinary way of things. A fruit fly thinks that being a fruit fly is just the normal way of doing things. Just like we think that being a human is just absolutely normal. And we look at other creatures and think how weird they are. But you see, a dolphin looks at us and thinks, look at how weird he is. All his hair and wiggly things and juggling his bones around when he's walking and all of that. While we, elegantly, swim through the sea and the water. And they probably have all sorts of cultures, you see. Every single animal, you see. Little fish, looking at each other and look at his fins, look at how it breaks the color when it shines on it and all of the subtle details. And you see, every creature thinks that it's in the middle, and it thinks that being him is just the ordinary way of things. And he probably looks at other creatures like him, just like we look at other humans. And you see, the thing is that this is how the universe keeps things interesting. Or whatever you want to call it, the whole being, the divine, whatever. It keeps things interesting by always changing, by being reborn and looking at things with fresh eyes. You see, it's looking at itself, through each one of us, through different angles. And it experiences itself from all sorts of different ways. You see, you are something that the whole universe is doing. You are the universe experiencing itself. I mean, what else could you be? You're not something cut off from it, you're not something different from it. Your existence is totally dependent on everything else around you, which means that they go together. You see, it's all being aware. The universe is Doing the awareness from that animal, from that thing, from this thing, from you, is being aware of you. It's like you know, it's like waving from everyone, saying, "Whoo, I'm here. I'm conscious. Hello," waving at itself. But it forgets that it's doing it and it's just playing this huge game. I mean, isn't that interesting? And that you are something that the whole universe is doing. That this whole, universal flow or energy of nature, it's flowing through you at any moment, or whatever you want to call it. This great mystery, the force of divine, whatever. It's flowing through you, and it's keeping, it is what makes you alive. The things that, that force that pumps your blood. You don't think about, pumping your heart. You don't do it, you see, consciously, with thoughts. It all happens by itself. It's spontaneous. It's something just does it. And you feel your heartbeat, and you feel that something is happening that is outside of your control. It's something that you got to trust. This is a Chinese way of looking at it. That nature and the nature of man must be trusted. So you see, that is actually good. The fact that we lose our memories and we start over again, maybe, we know other conscious beings, we start over again. It's actually great. This is how it keeps things interesting. Because just imagine if you knew the outcome of a game, it would be absolutely boring. And it's just in the same way. I mean, if you could remember all the way back and have all sorts of memory for thousands of years, things would get so boring. It's like, writing on a white paper with a black ink and just writing over and over again. But at some point, it's going to be filled. It's going to be completely black. And you're going to be writing on black, and it won't make any sense. And just imagine, remembering all your relationships and everything. Getting into relationships and knowing that they're going to die, and all the past relationships that you had. And at some point, things would stop becoming exciting. You wouldn't be surprised because everything would be known. You would just remember it. This is why it's good to just wipe the slate clean and start over again. Look at things with fresh eyes, from the eyes of a newborn baby. Looking at things and just wondering in it, looking at all the colors and being just taken aback by it. So you see, nothing is like a bounce. You bounce back from it, just in the same way how you bounce from it when you were born. Bounce out of that nothingness. You see, it's kind of a bounce because nothingness implies something. Nothing implies something. So you bounce back from that nothingness, and you bounce back all new and all different, and nothing to compare it to, a whole refreshing experience. So then you see, there is this funny feeling, nothingness underlying a whole being. But you see, from one point of view, this nothingness, it's also us. That's me. Because I cannot exist without it. It is underlying my whole existence. I don't exist without it. I go together with that nothingness which I came out of. My life wouldn't be happening if that nothingness wouldn't be happening. And if life wouldn't be happening, then nothingness wouldn't be happening. You see, it's very interesting. But you see, most of the time, we look down on nothingness. We look down on everything related to nothingness. Things like sleep or space, passivity. We think that we don't take them, we don't put much weight on them. Because we notice more easily the things that are, not the background, but the figure, the things that are there, the energy. And most of the time we disregard the emptiness, the background, sleeping, even though they are just as crucial as the other one, because they go together. So then you see, when you get this feeling of nothingness, just dig into that feeling. Just face that feeling and just feel it completely. You will see that just like with anxiety, if you're willing to be anxious, most of the time that willingness to be anxious makes it unnecessary to do so. So you see, think of yourself as dead already, so that you have nothing to lose. Because it's just a fact. You will die 100%. It's just as certain that you will die now if you were to die 5 minutes from now. It's 100%. And from 100 years from now, you will just be a handful of dust. And that's true. That's real. That's reality. So act on that reality. Act out on that reality. Think of yourself as dead. There's a Turkish proverb that says, He who sleeps on the floor will not fall out of bed. The more you know that you're going to die, the more you come alive, the less anxious that you will be, the more courage you will have to go tell them what. The more you know you're nothing, the more you'll amount to something. You see, it shakes you up. You sink into that nothingness, you sink in that death, that feeling of death, and you come out of it even more alive and ready to live life wholeheartedly, sincerely, not too seriously, just sincerely. You don't have to take it seriously, just being sincere, playing this game with your whole heart, putting your whole heart into it, and having a blast, having a ball, you see. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Very interested to read those. And if you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email, we'll arrange a video call, we can chat. So thank you for being here. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts in the comments, any questions, anything that you have. Find these streams very interesting. So yeah, I gotta go now. Yeah, I'm already pretty late, but let's go. Thank you for being here. Have a great day and goodbye.